Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Kesselman, and today I'm going to show you how I created moving and rotating platforms in UE5. In this video, I'll show you the step-by-step process of how I set up these platforms using blueprints. I have made every aspect of the platforms editable, from the location and rotation to the movement speed and delays. This allows them to be useful in all kinds of things from elevators to trapdoors. I have also made it so I can import them into any of my projects because all I need to do is give the player blueprint a tag for the platforms to work. First, I gave the player's blueprint the tag player. This is so when the platforms are touched, they only interact with whatever has the player tag. To give a player a tag, or anything a tag really, is to search in the details tag, and normally you would pull it under the actor tag. Right here. This allows the platforms to be used in any other project because it doesn't check for a specific blueprint, it only checks if it has the correct tag. To make the platforms, I created a new blueprint, an actor blueprint, and added a cube and a collision box to it. You can make it whatever dimensions you want, but I just made it like this. And make sure the root component is right in the center. This is just a preference thing, but for moving platforms, I definitely do this. This will be the platform that goes from point A to point B constantly without any player input. So I'm going to go over the variables first. The starting location is where it starts. Target location is where it will move to and from. And this is instance editable, so you can set it however you like. Go speed is the movement speed, so normally it's 1. So if it's 1, it's just its normal speed, and if it's 2, it's double the speed, and if it's 0.5, it's half the speed, etc, etc. Delay is the amount of seconds between it stopping and moving, so there's a pause between going and stopping. Return speed is the same as go speed, but it's the speed on the way back, so you can make them different if you want. And that's all of the variables. So when the game is played, it will get the actor location and set that as starting location. And then these two are quite important. It uses timelines to lerp between point A and point B, so these are what sets the speed of the return one and the go one. And then move is a custom event which travels down here to the next bit. This is all of the nodes that make it go back and forth, so it's not that complicated really. So we got that move custom event, and then it does the delay amount, and then it goes into a timeline, which is just a simple 0 to 1 in 1 second. And then the alpha of that is what's lerping between the starting location and the target location. And then it simply sets a actor location depending on what the output of this is. And then when that timeline's done, it goes down to finish, does another delay, and then it does the same timeline again but reversed, so it's 1 to 0 in 1 second. And then it does the same here, and then instead of another delay, it just simply calls the custom event again, so it starts back here and delays, and then it just constantly loops over and over and over. The other moving platform is the platform that depends on when the player is touching it. So the variables for this is quite similar to the first. It's the starting location, target location, one of the speeds, and the delay. And here is the begin play section. So when begin play, it gets the actor location and sets it, and then it sets the timeline speed. There's only one timeline this time because we're using the same one, just reversing it for when it's going back. So to get the platform to actually move, It checks whenever an actor is overlapping with it, it checks the actor tag, and if it has the tag player, then it will go through here and do the delay and come into a flip-flop. A flip-flop basically makes it so one time it goes through A and then the next time it goes through B, and it cannot do the same twice. So this is being used to make it go forward and back with the same timeline, because when you go through it the first time, it plays the timeline, and then when the player touches it again, it reverses it, so it goes backwards. And this is the same setup as the constant move. Now, for the rotation platforms, I just copied the constant move and moved these two to the side, so the root component's here rather than the center. This is so when it rotates down like this rather than like around the center. The variables for the rotations is target rotation and starting rotation, but they're both not instance editable because I set the target rotation a different way. The X rotate is the amount to rotate on the X axis. The speed is the speed of the rotation. The delay is basically when it begins, it will have a delay and then rotate. And then the reset delay is the amount of time it waits for it to come back up. The begin play for the constant rotating platform goes like this. So it gets the actor rotation and then sets it as the starting rotation. And then just like the other platforms, it sets the play rate of the two timelines with this speed. And then to get the target rotation, it splits the starting rotation, and we just replace the X with the variable that we created, X rotate, and then it just set that as the target rotation. And then just like the constant moving platforms, it runs into a custom event. Quite similar to the constant move, it does all this. So it does the start delay and then plays from start a 0 to 1 timeline, and it just lerps between starting rotation and target rotation. And then when that's done, it goes through the reset delay, and then it does the same, but it's 1 to 0, and then lerps between. And then when that's done, it just comes back to here and does the start delay again. Very similar to the constant move, just replacing the location with rotation. To make the player dependent rotate, I duplicated the constant rotate because it works very similarly, and I added a new variable called activated. This will be used so it only rotates if it is not activated already. Begin play is exactly the same, just without the custom event on the end here. And for making it actually rotate, this section here is basically identical apart from the end turning activated back to false. And over here is the same as the player dependent move. It checks if the actor it's overlapping with has the tag player, and then it does the delay, and then it also checks if it's activated. Now if it isn't activated, it will activate it and then go through the timelines, and then once it's done, it will turn activate back to false, so it can do this again. Here is a quick level I designed using all of the different types of platforms. If you're interested in using these platforms yourself, I'll have this project downloadable on itch.io, and then you can just migrate the platform folder to any of your projects and give your player the tag player, and it will just work. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.